Hello everybody, welcome to It Was Tuesday as we near the end of Street Fighter 6's Season 1 with the new patch coming out in just about, a little over a week from the time of recording this. Season 1 coming to an end, and there has been a lot of debate about where Season 1 ended up, in particular with the tier list. Now, of course, everybody loves making tier lists. I don't know what it is about tier lists and content, but it's extremely popular. And so guess what? I'm doing a tier list. Let's do it. Let's do a Season 1 ending tier list. Now, before I really even get started on this, we really have to discuss a couple of things about the Season 1 tiers, right? One, this tier list is going to be completely biased in my opinion, right? I mean, it's just in my opinion. I'm not saying that it's going to be biased in my opinion. I mean, it's going to be biased in my opinion. And that's the way all these tier lists are going to be, right? No matter who you go look at in the tier list, it's really going to be based off of what your perceptions are and your experiences are. Because again, the way that Street Fighter 6 has really ended here, I have often said on Twitter already many times that there's like 9 characters who can legit be in the top 5 when people are talking about top 5 characters. And you know what? I don't think anybody is wrong with their tier list. It's really strangely very well balanced at this point. And so if we actually just jump over here really quick to the tier maker screen here, let me actually zoom this in for you guys here. Wait, does this page, oh, there we go. I was about to say, does this page not zoom? Like if we actually go in here, I have this set up to top, high, mid, and low. And if we actually realistically, I mean, like, let's talk about these 10 characters who could legit be a top tier, right? If we go through here, DJ could be top 5, Cammy could be top 5, Chen could be top 5, Jury could be top 5, Luke could be top 5, Guile could be top 5, let's see, JP could be top 5, Ken could be top 5, Blanca could be top 5. And you know what? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Frankly, Rashid could be top 5 too, depending on who you talk to. And so having 10 characters potentially be top 5 out of 21 characters is damn impressive, honestly. And really, like I said, regardless of which of these characters you put actually in the top 5, I think you're not wrong. There's just no way you can really be wrong in this situation, because it really is also going to depend on the characters you use. Like, I know I've repeatedly put JP not as high as other people because I think JP is, I think I use Kimberly and JP fights Kimberly really well. So it's very easy for me to just be like, JP's overrated, right? So that's kind of how I feel. Now, let's go ahead and get started on this. It's interesting here because one of the first things that was discussed here in the chat before I really got started here, someone actually said that Punk is trying to downplay Luke a little bit, right? And again, this happened too with Mena RD. Mena RD has been saying that Luke is overrated. And, it's interesting to hear both of them call him overrated. Now, I've actually sat down and tried to use Luke a little bit, play him. And I will say, he's a very awkward character to use. When you see someone who's really good use Luke, it looks like, yeah, he can do no wrong and he's great at everything. But it's really interesting. He is missing a lot of very kind of big things. Like his combos off of lights are really weak. Even if he hits you with crouching strong without anything behind it, he can really only combo in the standing light kick. And from the standing light kick, really, like, the only thing that's, like, super consistent that doesn't spend a meter is, like, this medium DP. He's got a lot of, like, very awkward, funky situations. The thing is, he just does so much damage. And the one thing that I feel like is a really powerful tool in this game and really affects where I put certain characters is the usage of your drive gauge. And the thing that makes Luke powerful to me is that in many optimized situations, he doesn't need to use any drive gauge. Like, he just does it because his perfect pow combo is so powerful and so strong, and it costs no meter. That's the thing. And Ken is very similar because his run into special moves are also very strong as well. So as a result, because these things are so strong, they have a lot more meter for fishing for drive rush cancels, for continuing pressure in the corner. Why I think Luke and Ken have some of the most oppressive pressure in the corner is because when they get you in the corner, the majority of the time they still have the majority of their drive rush gauge. Whereas characters like Jury and Cammy, they have to spend so much drive meter just to get you into the corner a lot of times and get some decent damage. So I really do feel like, I really do feel like that's one of the advantages that Luke and Ken have. As a result, I still do have Luke as number one. What's interesting about this is if you do say Luke is overrated, who is number one then? Who is number one? Who would you put as number one at this point? A lot of people talk about Cammy. A lot of people talk about Guile. A lot of people talk about JP. You know, I talk about Blanca. So even though Chabroni in the chat's like, Blanca's number one, Blanca's number one. Like, I personally don't even have Blanca as number one, as good as I think he is. I've often said that I just think that Blanca is top 5, top 4, and everyone's like, you're crazy. And so the fact that everybody is starting to put him up there makes me happy. Makes me happy. So at least people are saying that now. At least people are saying that now. So what's interesting is that, there has been all this Ken downplay. And a lot of people are saying Ken isn't as strong as he is. Christitarian, Phenom, for example. Ken players who have all been saying that he's not necessarily top 5. Even when Phenom was doing his propaganda and asking all the Japanese players, a lot of the Japanese players did not put Ken in their top 5. Except for Tokido and Nemo. They were the only ones. And Nemo still had the best reaction completely. Oh, man. Because he just looked at Phenom like he was crazy when Phenom was insinuating that Ken wasn't top 5. So the question is Ken really top 5 right now? Is he top 5? I think he is. I don't think there's any question about that. I think Ken is definitely top 5. Is he number 2? I don't know. I had originally had the point where I had put JP a little under top 5 because of the nerfs that he got. But then Evo Japan, he was the only character repeated in top 6. And JP clearly is super strong still. So I probably still have him in top 5. There's no question that I have Blanca in top 5. I'm the biggest Blanca up player in the history of the world. So of course he's in top 5. The question is, who's the last character in top 5? For the longest time, I've argued that Chun-Li is a top 5 character because I think she has everything. She's really strong. There's a lot of people out there who are like, she doesn't have throw loops, so clearly she's not the best character. But, dude, the range of her normals, the speed of her buttons, her walk speed, the combos, she's got a great level 2, she's got a great level 1, level 3, very easy to combo into her supers. This is my top 5 right here. This is actually my top 5 over here. Now, interesting, John the Automaton asks in the chat, I don't understand why everyone puts Chun over Jury. Jury actually has a lot of weaknesses. Like I said, she's very starved for drive gauge. And and even from a tournament standpoint, Uma not counting Uma, Jury has not had great tournament results. In fact, Uma even entered Evo Japan, I was told, and I think didn't even finish in the top 128 if I remember. But frankly, if you've already won $1 million, maybe his drive isn't as strong as it was before. Maybe he's like, whatever, I've got $1 million, bitches, I'm out. So I don't know. But the way that I would arrange these 5 characters right now would probably be like, oops, where's my cursor? There it is. Would probably be like this. Probably Luke, Ken, Chen, Blanca, and JP. And keep in mind, I am a believer that Ken is not as strong currently as he was before. I get what the Luke down players are talking about, but I still think Luke is clearly very strong and has a lot of benefits and just has a lot of powers that a lot of other characters do not. I still have trouble trying to drop him any further than top 3, right? So this is kind of the order that I have right now. I have the potential to do this. I have the potential to do this because I do think Blanca's a little stronger than Chun-Li. I'm doing it. I've been, again, this is based on me. This is my opinion, my biases. I've been saying Blanca has been amazing this whole entire time. So guess what? Blanca is going to be a top 3 character, damn it. He just is. That's just how I have it right here. So what we're going to do then is we're going to drop the other 10 potentially, the other 5 potentially top 10 characters into this list here as well. Did I move Rashid up there already? Where's Rashid? There's Rashid. So I'm going to move these characters into here because this is clearly the next tier, in my opinion, over here. Now, I do think probably Rashid is the weakest out of them, but that's only because he hasn't been around as long. Clearly, Rashid is getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger as time goes. And in fact, he might even be stronger than Jury at this point. It might actually be like this right now. Again, yes, I'm not saying Jury is weak. These 10 characters are all like this, separated by like this, right? So it's not like anything crazy here. Clearly, Jury is really, really strong. Yeah, Ed is too new to really know as well right now. I mean, again, a lot of people will tell you Ed is bad, and then now Ending Walker still winning everything. So it's like he just beat Problem X at Brussels Challenge against Blanca. But is that Ending Walker or is that Ed, right? Do we know? But again, you know, you have to be a certain kind of character to give you the ability to win a tournament like Brussels Challenge. Even if you are Ending Walker, you're not taking, like, Ending Walker's played Ryu, and he's lost a lot of matches with Ryu. He's won with Ryu. But winning with Ed at Brussels Challenge against someone like Problem X using Blanca is a big statement about Ed. And in fact, I wanted to analyze that match on the stream, but I figured I wouldn't have had enough time. And I'm right. So, you know, maybe in the future I'll analyze that match and so we can see exactly what happened. Yeah, Brian F won Texas Showdown with Ed. Granted, there weren't as many. I don't want to downplay his win. So if Brian F, you get word of this, I'm not downplaying it. But a lot of people were at EVO Japan. A lot of people were at the Level Up Expo as well. So the top players were spread around. But again, that Brian F could win with Ed says a lot, right? It's not just, oh, nobody was there. Like, it doesn't matter if nobody's there. Like, you're going to have trouble winning with characters like Lillian Manon anyway. So the fact that Ed was able to win is definitely a very powerful statement. Now, Guile or DJ? Who's stronger, Guile or DJ? It's really, 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 really hard to say because I think both of these characters are super, super strong. A lot of people, dude, everybody's putting DJ in the chat, and some people are even saying DJ by a lot. It's hard because Guile is really strong. Guile has a lot of things going for him. Some people are saying, Mylander in the chat saying that Guile has some bad matchups. I do think in general DJ is stronger and has more of the ability to handle a lot of the matchups. Obviously, he has one of the best drive rushes in the game. Clearly, he's missing the crouching medium kick drive rush cancel, but so is Guile. But DJ, if he hits you, you die, you melt, you lose all your health. So yeah, I think that's right. I think that's right. DJ probably stronger than Guile, right? And Daigo doesn't even really play Guile, Chabroni. He really mostly just plays Ken still, right? So DJ is absurd. I mean, he has that ability to be absurd. And if I really had my choice, I would take these three characters right here and put them into the top bracket and just leave Rashid and Jury here in high. But I want to separate with the top five. I kind of want to do a five, and have one of them just be six, basically, is kind of what I want to do right here, right now. So this is probably what my high tier would look like, is actually DJ, Guile, Cammy, Rashid, and Jury. Now, you know, Cammy is a tricky one because a lot of people put this character as number 2. A lot of people put Cammy as number 3. Hi, Nathan. It's cat time. Hi, Nathan. How are you doing? And here comes Jasmine, but she's going to stay off to the side, so I do not grab her. But Cammy is an interesting one because, you know, as a person who plays Cammy and as a, you know, lifelong Cammy down player, I don't think she's as strong as a lot of other people do. But at the same time, I totally see why everybody thinks Cammy is so strong, because it's hard not to be that good when you have a dive kick. It's just hard, especially if you are a player at the level of someone like Punk or Kazunoko. She's clearly got a bunch of tools. Her weakness really just is the fact that outside of spending a crap ton of meter, she really can't do a lot of damage. So, you know, when Javits saw that Hurricane clip of Blanca 2-touching Hurricane to death, Javits is like, oh, let's see how many characters can actually do this 2-touch, full resources. First one, just a raw drive rush. Second one, punishing a backdash. And Cammy can't accomplish it. To get damage, she has to spend so much meter. To get corner carry, she has to spend so much meter. Now, here's the thing. Cammy has every tool necessary for you to win. And if you are a smart player, the dive kick, the shimmy, even the cross-up spin knuckle, but her foot speed, her normals, her neutral, her really, like, getting Oki off of everything, like, clearly makes Cammy very, very strong in the right hands. But even someone like Punk these days is like, man, this character sucks. Man, this character is overrated, blah, blah, blah. But like I said, that's what we all do. And I'm starting to wonder how much of it really is trying to get the characters to avoid the Nerf hammer. You know, maybe that's just really what it comes down to. But, you know, again, with my personal biases in place, you know, I can't put Cammy in the top 5. I feel like she just has enough natural weaknesses. And it's not necessarily my own personal biases that do this. The thing that actually convinces me that Cammy is at this point is at number 8 as opposed to top 5 is really the fact that she has no results in big tournaments. Like, you get to an Evo Japan, as much as everybody talks about that character, no Cammy in top 6, no Cammy in top 8, right? As much as everybody talks about Cammy, no Cammys really, except for Punk at a regular Evo in top 8. Capcom Cup, there's no Cammys in the top 8, right? Like, Cammy is just suspiciously missing from the tops of all the biggest tournaments. And it's because I think she's kind of volatile. Whereas if you're a good player and you read correctly all the time, Cammy is nigh unstoppable. But when you fight somebody else who's also a good player, who also has amazing reads all the time, the ability to blow Cammy up for the decisions that she makes are really high as well. Because a lot of the things that Cammy has to do are kind of risky. Like she like if you just try to use the hooligan stuff, you could potentially lose 50% of your life for a wrong guess kind of a situation. The risk reward for the hooligan isn't great. Even though the hooligan feels powerful, the risk is really high. And yeah, so I mean, someone's saying that Icky in the chat is saying she's too straightforward. I wouldn't say she's squishy because she has 10,000 health points just like everybody else. But oh yeah, and then another thing, Blanca blows up Cammy. So Blanca, she's got a bad matchup there, etc., etc. So I really don't feel like at this point Cammy is at top 5. And I know a lot of people are going to get on my case about that because a lot of people think Cammy is terrifying. I talked to some top players in NA, and like one of them, Samurai, told me that he thought Cammy might be number 2. You know, and you know, like I said, when I hear that, I can't even sit there and realistically go, no. Like I can't even do the Cammy downplay like I used to. I'm just like, you know, she's really, really strong. She's really strong. So I can't even really argue with that. What's the trends you see per tier here? So top tier is just like they can handle just about every matchup. They're super good. You can win tournaments with these characters. Like, not a problem at all. High tier is basically your top tier. You're just not the top 5. You're just not, in my opinion, the top 5. Because again, DJ, Guile, and Cammy, I would really like to actually just throw in the top tier. But I mean, honestly, that's just, I mean, I should. I told myself coming into here, I wanted to create more of a separation because I feel like it's a copping out. If I throw everybody into top tier, everyone's going to be like, whatever, sitting on the fence, James. So I'm gonna leave it this way right now. But right now, for me, high tier is almost not different than top tier, including Rashid and Jury, even though I'm not talking about them with the same glowing, effusive praise as these 3 over here, as DJ, Guile, and Cammy. But clearly, Jury is good enough to win Capcom Cup. And Rashid is just getting scarier and scarier and scarier. And kind of like Blanca, you know, his potential is really high for being very strong. I don't think it was as high. I mean, as soon as Blanca dropped, I looked at Lightning Beast and I saw Blanca Chen and I was like, there's clearly no way this character is going to be worse than top 5. Because there's just too much upside and too much potential for new shenanigans with him. And we've seen that. As Blanca has existed longer and longer, he's only just gotten stronger and stronger and scarier. While Isar is very, very strong and Rashid has a lot of great, wonderful mix-ups, I still don't see it on the same level as Blanca, honestly. But again, could he jump to top 5? Yeah, all of these 10 characters, as long as you talk to any player, these are the top 10 characters. Whatever order that they're in, almost everybody is right. The only thing you can argue is if you do not have these characters as your top 10, you're probably wrong. But from that point, whatever order you put them in, that's just how it works. But yes, top tier is also very drive efficient as well, for sure. That is definitely true. But I mean, honestly, really, Cammy and Jury are the only 2 characters in this top 10 that are really a little more drive gauge starved than other characters, in my opinion. But I think without question, this is the top 10. Some people might put Marisa in there. I've seen someone put Marisa in there instead of Jury. I don't think that's right, because also I have a hard, steadfast rule that if you do not have an ODDP of some kind, you cannot be top 10. And I don't think Marisa is one of those characters. I just don't, because she's always going to have a weakness when she gets knocked down. Now, the best thing about her is, you know, the reason why she makes up for that and has the potential to be top 10 is that she doesn't have to guess right that much. That's just it, right? So even if she gets mauled in the corner, if she guesses right once, twice, you die. Chen can be drive meter ineffective, except that a lot of her drive meter comes from her fishing with like low forward drive cancels and stuff like that. I don't feel like she's as crazy with it, although, you know, obviously being able to combo into, you know, EX bird kicks and stuff is really nice. But I don't think she's as drive inefficient as like a Cammy or a Jury, honestly. I think she's still pretty strong in that respect, in that regard. So, so mid tiers. So these are the characters that obviously are not in this low tier. In fact, it's probably easier if I just fill out the low tier. But let's do this mid tier over here, okay? Like, we've talked a little bit about Ed. We've talked a little bit about Marisa. I think Dalsum is really has a lot of potential here as well. I think Aki is significantly stronger than most people would actually say she is. And then this one gets tough right here. Like, if I am forced to put like a couple more characters here in the mid tier, I think Ryu is buffed enough to be in mid tier at this point. And I might actually put Honda here, because I do think Honda's better than everybody gives him credit for. I do think Honda is better than people say that he is. But what order would I put them in? Because she's proven, I would put Marisa here. I personally want to put Dalsum here as number 2 in the mid-tier list, but Dalsum's results don't reflect that. I think Dalsum is extremely good. I think he has only better to get, even if we didn't get a new patch. I think Dalsum becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. And a lot of the characters that originally seemed like would give him problems, like a Cammy, like a Kimberly, actually don't really give him as many problems as people think. So I would like to put Dalsum here, but with what Ending Walker is doing with Ed, like, do I put Ed above Dalsum? Or do I leave Dalsum above Ed because simply from the fact that Ed just hasn't been around long enough to really show what he is capable of? And for me personally, since this is a biased tier list, this is how I would have it. I would have Marisa, Dalsum, then Ed. And then in fact, yes, I would have Aki next. And then probably Ryu, and then probably Honda. Honda's a weird one, because I know Honda's better than he's being represented. Like, people like Ultra David do so much work with this character. There's other people who do work with this character. And I don't feel like people are using Honda as well as they could. Honda's just one of those characters that, you know, he's geared towards you playing him in as straightforward a way as possible. Right? So you just headbutt, butt slam, headbutt, butt slam. And it's funny and it works, and then it stops working, and then you think he sucks. But he has so much more than that. Honda clearly has a lot more than that. He's got a lot of other really smart ways to handle situations. And I think people are underestimating. They did it in Street Fighter V too. People would rank Honda really low. And I really don't think Honda was even that bad in Street Fighter V. But I don't know. It's interesting, because if you are in a position where your perfect parries are on point, Honda does get kind of messed up. He does get messed up a little bit. But is he worse than Ryu? Hard to say. The only reason why I would put him worse than Ryu is because Ryu got better, right? Ryu is clearly better than he was when he started, with some of the small changes that he got. If he hadn't got those changes, Ryu would still be in the low tier down over here. So I think I'm okay with leaving it in this order right now. Marisa, Dalsum, Ed. And again, Ed only here because he's too brand new. Clearly, a lot of people might think Ed is stronger than this, but I only have him down here because he's too brand new. Aki, Ryu, and then Honda over here. I really genuinely think that this is the mid right here. And that leaves us with the sad 5, the bottom 5, as I like to call them a lot of times here. And again, you know, one of the common things with most of the... And again, Jamie is so bizarre, because Jamie, for all intents and purposes, if you look at all the checklists for what people consider as a top tier character, Jamie always checks all the boxes. And he just clearly never has the ability to achieve what it was that, you know, it's weird. Like, yeah, he's gotten some buffs for sure. But again, even with the buffs, we just don't see Jamie doing much. You know, now that could be because a lot of people have given up on him for so long already. So everyone who has the ability to do work with Jamie has already moved on to another character. Like, that can clearly be the situation over here. So perhaps. But regardless, Jamie is the highest of the bottom five. If he is indeed the bottom five. And that's the thing. Look, I agree with you guys. When I fight Jamie, I hate fighting him. I think he's one of the most annoying characters to fight against, and he feels like he's super strong. The problem with it is just that when he's at 0 drinks, he sucks, just like Vicetnet is saying here. He sucks at like 0 drinks, right? It's just like, it's not fun, right, for Jamie. And again, same thing with Kimberly. He just does very low damage. And so I really do think that Jamie is still kind of in that low tier. Now, that's the thing is Jamie has the ability to blow up a lot of people if you're just not super familiar with what he's doing, or if you're just not used to him and stuff. Like I said, I hate fighting Jamie. I hate fighting him a lot. But even then, it's hard for me to put him high because of tournament results. So while this is a biased reading and something, you know, that I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, this is my opinion. My opinion is also based off of tournament results. And honestly, I do not think Jamie's tournament results are good enough. The drink off of forward throw was huge, but also keep in mind, if he does the drink off of forward throw, he doesn't get a throw loop anymore. So while he can still meaty you with a stand medium kick and keep the pressure going, he loses his throw loop, right? So that is actually a significant thing to consider when it comes to Jamie getting the drink after the forward throw. Jamie mains have the best sweep timing of all players. Yeah, it's true. Don't tell that to the poor guy who was fighting. Which clip was that? The Phenom clip? Someone had the clip where the Jamie tried to sweep and then Blanca jumped and then it was game over at that point. So, oh man, 2 touches and you die. All right, so who else? So obviously the rest of these characters are in low tier. This is a personal tier list. This is a personal tier list. I know people are going to yell at me for this. But I'm putting Lily next. I'm putting Lily next. Because Lily can play neutral. And she has a real mix-up once she gets that Condor Spire in there, okay? I really do think Lily is at this point. And I know the people are mad at me. Because yes, that means I think Kimberly is in the bottom 3 at this point. And this hurts because I used to put Kimberly in the same area as Marisa and Dalsum. I used to have her up here. I really believed in Kimberly. If you look at all my old tier lists, if you look at all the old time, the ways that I used to talk about Kimberly, I was like, you guys are not utilizing her well enough. She's way stronger than this. She's better than you guys are saying she is. And I've just been beaten down. I've just been beaten down. And largely the main reason why I can justify this as a not just because I can't win with her mindset. The reason why I can justify this is because the corner pressure for a lot of the characters has become so elegant now. A lot of these characters, their corner pressure is so refined at this point, and that is where Kimberly dies. Like, even Manon has a better wake-up game than Kimberly does. Even Lily has a better wake-up game than Kimberly does. Like, she just gets blown up, and everyone's like, well, you know what? She just takes what she can dish out. And again, Luke, Ken, Blanca, Chun-Li, JP, Cammy, Rashid, Jury, even DJ, they all dish out a better corner pressure than Kimberly does. Because if you're wrong against Kimberly, she does 2,000 damage. She does 2,000 damage. It doesn't matter if you are wrong against Kimberly. She doesn't kill you. She doesn't kill you. The only advantage that she has is the fact that she gets to rapid fire a lot of these mix-ups and do a lot of different things. If you study her mix-ups and understand what she can possibly do, it makes it so that it's less of a problem. The thing is, if you aren't aware of what it is that she's going to do, because that's the thing, right? Like Blanca's mix-ups, right? You can learn all that you want about that mix-up, but the least amount of damage you're taking is 40%. Right? Against Kimberly, the most, I mean, again, when I say that from Blanca, that's like with 1 meter. 1 bar, you're taking like 40%. With Kimberly, the most damage with 1 bar you're taking is like 3,000 damage. Maybe not even that much. And that's the problem right there, is that she doesn't have, and not only that, but most of her mix-ups aren't really that real. She doesn't really have like mix-ups that are super real. So for example, obviously it's scary if, she drops the can there and then decides to either throw or attack you, right? Like I said, 1, you're not going to take that much damage. And 2, she can't throw you into that, right? So if she doesn't throw right away, like you're not getting hit by the bomb. You're just not, right? Unless she tries to sneak in an overhead or something. But it's just like a lot of the mix-ups that what she has aren't really real. Right, 5 MK on block has no meterless mix, and on hit, she doesn't get run. Exactly. So a lot of the things that she does isn't real, and even if she has a real mix, so if she does standing medium kick into run, you can jab her every time. So she can run slide and frame trap you, but if she's wrong on that, she's minus 20 something and you die. And you get murdered. So again, a lot of the stuff that she does doesn't feel real to me because kind of like what I was saying about Cammy, if you're wrong, you usually get completely destroyed. And in the case of any side switch, you get put in the corner and then it's game over, right? And then it's just game over. Because that's the thing, is like if you can escape the corner as Kimberly, you can escape the corner with every character in the game and have way better tools. So you can say, well, you just have to play smart as Kimberly once you get in the corner. Dude, you could play the exact same way to get out of the corner with every other character except have better tools. Like Kimberly doesn't even have a wall jump. She doesn't have anything extra that lets her get out of the corner that other characters don't have. Like literally she has 0 advantages and she has the worst range on her normals out of all the characters. So when you do get cornered, it's really hard to fight your way out because it's very easy to get whiff punished as well. But of course, if people do that, that means you have to walk forward more, which is kind of one of the ways that you do get out of the corner with her. But again, it's always a big risk. So again, I actually have Lily above Kimberly. I really do. I really do, and I hate it. I hate that I have to do this. I hate that this is how I feel about Kimberly these days. I really hate that I have her this low on the bracket. You have to be like exceptional to win with this character. Like you have to be, and again, like I said, you're just putting yourself in situations where if you just use any of the other characters, you can still escape the corner meterless with the same strategy, still have the same pressure in the corner, have better neutral, have better damage, actually do 1200 damage every time you throw a character instead of 1080, because she's literally the only character who doesn't do 1200 damage or more on a regular throw. Literally the only character. Psycho is probably one of the closest. Shine uses her, but he won a tournament with Chun-Li and didn't win with Kim. A lot of top players have dropped. God, what was his name? In Brussels Challenge, there was the jury player who used to be a Kimberly player, but he dropped her for jury, and now he's making top 8. There are no top players using Kimberly right now. Like, literally, there are no top players using Kimberly. There are players who are good and use Kimberly and do very well with her. Don't get me wrong. Again, when you look at this tier list, every character can win in this game. Every character can win in this game. But, some characters are just going to be more work than others. And while you can do work with Zangief, Manon, Kimberly, Lily, and Jamie, like they can win. They can win. But clearly she just has such a disadvantage at this point. And then I have Zangief here. Weirdly enough, talking about Zangief, I think he's actually a little better than people give him credit for. But people thought he was like useless, so I think he's better. And then I have Manon at the bottom, down over here, which is unfortunate. I feel so bad for Manon. What a free fall, man. If you actually look at the video where I did my first tier list, I had Manon ranked really, really high because I thought she was scary. And you know what? Everybody did. Everybody did this. And now almost everybody has Manon down as the worst character. And it's very, very depressing. So honestly, like, what I probably should do here to make this tier list even more accurate. Why is this site so slow on me today? I don't understand, dude. This site is just like chugging on me. It's weird. I mean, it's so weird. Like, top. You know what? I'll have to just do this. So basically, I have top 5, top, high, and mid. This is the real labeling for this, right? I'll call it top 5, top, high, and mid. This is the way it really goes. Because again, Jamie, Lily, Kimberly, Zangief, and Manon are all mid-tier characters. And, you know, we've seen Marisa's and Dalsim's and Ed's and Aki's and Ryu's do work. Maybe not so much Honda. I mean, Honda's another one of those characters that based on results, I may just have to put him in mid. Just because we don't ever see Honda get results. We just don't ever see Honda get results. And if I'm using results as a large measuring of how strong these characters are, I might just have to move Honda down to mid. Because again, we've seen results from Marisa, Dalsim, Ed, Aki, and Ryu. We've seen people do well with these characters, right? I swear I should call this tier the Ending Walker tier. Because Ed and Ryu is like Ending Walker. So this is probably how we have it here. Top 5, Luke, Ken, Blanca, Chen, JP. And then top tier, DJ, Guile, Cammy, Rashid, Jury. High tier, Marisa, Dalsim, Ed, Aki, and Ryu. And then mid tier, Honda, Jamie, Lily, Kimberly, Zangief, and Manon. This is kind of how I have it. And again, like I said, there is bias in here. The two main areas of bias are, the three main areas of bias are going to be Blanca at number 3, Cammy at number 8, and Kimberly as bottom 3. Those are probably the two biggest James bias areas out there. But outside of that, I think this is a pretty good representation of where people actually think everyone stands currently in this game. Everybody can move a little bit here and there, kind of shift around, mushy, and like depending on who you are, you can squeeze people here because you've fought a million Cammies or your best friend plays Cammy and you cannot do anything to her and you hate Cammy like for real. Like, yeah, I totally get it. But, you know, in general, I think that this is a pretty... Yes, ordered Jamilu. This is an ordered list right here. So yes, I do think Luke is number 1. I still have Ken as number 2, although I don't know if the propaganda is working on me. Remember, I used to have him as number 1. Now I've dropped him to number 2. I don't think it's as clear as it used to be, right? I used to think if you tried to put Ken at number 5, I was like, you're stupid, you're an idiot. Now, if you put Ken at number 5, I'm like, I can see it. I can see it. Now, if you start dropping him out of top 5, I start getting a little more concerned. Or I know that you actually use Ken. But, you know, moving Ken within the top 5 used to be impossible for me. Now I believe he can be moved around the top 5. I do actually think, if you told me you thought Chun-Li and JP are better than Ken, and that it's Luke, Chun, JP, and then Ken, like, I can be like, yeah, I can see it. I can see it now. Whereas the last time I did a tier list on the stream, I was like, Ken is number 1. There's no way. This character's so stupid. But, like, I get it now. I get it now. Now, again, is Luke overrated? Maybe. But who's better than Luke? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously Jury being that low is one that a lot of people are going to question as well, because Jury can be a pain in the ass. But again, she's a character that had even, until Uma was having even worse tournament turnout than Cammy was. So I always had her slightly below Cammy. But, you know, based on the fact that Uma won, I mean, clearly she's still there. And again, the difference between Luke and Jury in this top 10 list, again, is extremely minute. Is extremely minute. And that's the important thing to understand. So, but yeah, there you go. That's my tier list. That's my tier list for Street Fighter 6 Season 1. I'm happy with this. I'm comfortable with this. I'm sticking with this. The only change that I might make is this right here. I might switch Rashid and Jury only just because Rashid is too new right now. So I might just have it because I've always put Cammy and Jury very close to each other. So am I doing an audible? Am I actually doing an audible at the end here? All right, we'll leave it this way. We'll leave it this way here, like this. So I'll have Jury above Rashid for now. So John the Automaton, the reason why every tier has almost the same number of characters, I did that on purpose. I said I wanted to do that this time because I felt like if I put like 10 characters in the top, it would be kind of a cop-out. So I wanted to separate them a little bit more. But even having said that, they do kind of naturally fall in this way. They really do very naturally fall into this 5-5-5-5 block. So I don't think I had to struggle very hard to do this. Let's just put it this way. I didn't have to work very hard to put them into this kind of a separation. But this is on Predict Akuma tier, impossible. Impossible until we know all the changes for everyone else. But based on what we saw of Akuma, and if these characters never changed, I feel like Akuma's top 5 already, dude. Like, character looks insane. But a lot of characters looked insane, honestly. Like, I still remember when we first saw, like, Rashid, when we first saw Aki, when we first saw Ed, like, a lot of the stuff seemed like, oh my God, this character's gonna be nuts. And then they didn't turn out as nuts as we thought. And that's really to a testament on how well they've balanced these characters. Someone pointed out that, you know, Rashid is the only DLC character in the top here. But if you look at the other 2 DLC characters, they're in high tier. So the DLC characters didn't even come out sucking, or they didn't come out too powerful. That is very, very rare. That is extremely rare. DLC characters have almost always been broken or sucked. There has very, 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 very rarely been in any fighting game DLC characters coming out and actually being in the middle and being good but not bad and not bad but not good. You know, like it's almost never happened. And the fact that Capcom has been able to release 3 DLC characters and all of them are square right in the middle of this tier list is really, really impressive. So again, I know a lot of people out there will try to argue with me. You know who I'm talking about on YouTube, that this game is not balanced. I think this game is extremely balanced. I think this game is extremely, extremely well balanced. And again, shout outs to Capcom. Obviously, we would like to see bigger changes in Season 2 or maybe a bigger shakeup or something. But we'll see how it goes. We'll wait till we actually see a full tier list before we can actually say, like, you know, clearly a full change list, I should say, before we can actually say, you know, is this just going to be the same thing? Is this just going to be Drive Rush madness? Because we don't know. We don't know how much the Red Dead Redemptions, the words, the reversal. If you didn't see the first video, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Which was the what did they call it? The what drive reversal? They called it the something R drive reversal. The oh, what did they call it in the trailer? I can't remember now. Let me see here. They called it the recovery drive reversal. The recovery drive reversal, the RDR, which we called the Red Dead Redemption, basically. Or, as was said and suggested in the chat earlier, the wake up reversal drive, which could be the word. So, you know, on wake up, it's now the word up. So there you go. But we don't know how much that's going to change the game either, because at least that's a guaranteed way to beat throws. And, you know, in the defensive episode, I actually rated a lot of characters higher because they had anti-throw moves. Well, this actually gives everyone a universal anti-throw move. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how it all shakes up. Again, that'll be on the 22nd when everything comes out. I'm hoping we'll get a patch list before next Tuesday so we can go over the patch list little by little, and that should be a lot of fun. To see that and speculate on all the changes. But other than that, that's all I've got here. So that's my tier list again for the end of season 1. Let me know what areas you disagree with, because I know a lot of people out there are going to disagree with these tier lists. So I'm curious to see what a lot of people say. I want to see if more people are mad about where Cammy is placed, or Jury is placed, or even where Kimberly is placed. You know, I want to see what people have to say about that, and, you know, maybe I'll rethink my tiers, but for now, this is basically where I think they stand, and I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. Yeah, if they make Kim start at 100% scaling, install to 110%, I think 110% is safe. How much more ignorant would she be? I don't think she would be that much more ignorant, because the 2,000 damages would become 2,200. The 3,000 damages would become like 3,300 damage. It wouldn't be that much crazier. I just think she would be more fair, especially because at least her throw does the normal amount of damage. At least her throw would do the normal amount of damage. It sucks that her throw doesn't do any damage. I hate it. I've definitely lost rounds because I've thrown somebody and they were left with a pixel, and I just knew everybody else they would have killed. Like literally 100% of every other character would have killed with that throw. Kimberly is the only one that does 1080 damage for her throw at the start. Only character. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this tier list over here. Oh, actually, that's true. Does Jamie scale? Jamie might be the only other one then. Jamie might be the only other one. Let's actually check really quick here. Why did she throw escape? I'm so confused. I definitely did not do that on purpose. Oh, and he's at level 4 drink, so that will kill my experiment here. Standard, there we go. Okay, Jamie too. Jamie starts at 1080. Okay, well, that's why Jamie sucks too. That's why Jamie sucks too. Of course, at 1 drink, then at least he's at 1139, and then 1 more drink, then he's at regular. At least he can get to regular damage a lot easier than Kimberly can. Granted, once Kimberly does it, she's there permanently, but you need a level 3, man, and that's really, really hard to get to a lot of the times, honestly. Anyways, I was trying to call it a night here. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hanging around and checking out my tier list. Can't wait for season 2. Really excited to see how all the changes are gonna all fit in together. How the Red Dead Redemption is going to work. So how the word up is gonna handle situations, make it so that the corner is less painful. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, the day that this podcast graced your ears was the most important day of your life. But for me,
it was Tuesday.